The topic for this evening is forgiveness. According to the Oxford Dictionary, forgiveness means to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, a flaw, or a mistake. It's a basic definition. For some people, it has the additional connotation of the person offended or some higher authority granting a pardon, which then frees the offender from any punishment for their acts. Buddhist analysis is quite different from that. The Buddhist analysis of mental factors does not explicitly include a term for forgiveness, but it does include various factors like anger and resentment resentment has part of it which also means to hold a grudge, and it has the opponents to them, which are specifically not being angry and not being cruel. So what do those terms mean? If we look at those definitions, not getting angry is not wishing to retaliate and cause harm in response to others or to ourselves who, because of our actions, are or will suffer. Very interesting definition of it, that you're not getting angry because you don't, what it means is you're not going to retaliate or cause them harm in response to them, because their actions are going to cause them suffering. So you don't want to cause them even more suffering by getting angry at them. And not being cruel adds to this compassion, the wish for them to be free of their suffering and its causes. So from a Buddhist point of view, we wish for others or ourselves to be free of any suffering as a result of our harmful actions. But no one has the power to pardon someone from the karmic consequences of their misdeeds. So there's no danger of an inflated sense of a holier-than-thou self, like a priest or a court judge pardoning criminals. It's quite different, the connotation here of forgiveness. And it doesn't require an apology or, repenting or anything like that. You just recognize that the other person is going to really suffer from the harmful actions that they did. And so you develop compassion for them. So the key to the Buddhist approach of forgiveness is differentiating the person, whether someone else or ourselves, from our harmful or destructive actions or from our mistakes. Remember, we act destructively and we make mistakes not because we're bad, but because we're confused about behavioral cause and effect and about reality, and also because our understanding is limited, so of course we make mistakes. We're limited samsaric creatures with uncontrollably recurring confusion and problems, and therefore appropriate objects of compassion. We cause enough harm and suffering to ourselves, we don't need to add more. And other people create a numerous amount of suffering for themselves, so likewise we don't have to add more to them by getting angry and retaliating. So forgiveness in the Buddhist context means, first of all, differentiating the person from the act, whether we're talking about somebody else, forgiving someone else, or forgiving ourselves for mistakes or, destructive, harmful things that we did. And then secondly, not getting angry or being cruel toward them or ourselves, but instead, thirdly, feeling compassion with the wish that we or they be free of whatever caused us to act destructively or to make a mistake. But in terms of the harmful behavior or mistake, we don't just sit back and do nothing. We take it whatever steps we can to stop further destructive behavior and to correct mistakes, but without anger or holding a grudge or some haughty feeling that we are pardoning them, like laying our hand on their head and they're pardoned. So this is the basic idea that we have of forgiveness in Buddhism. It's basically not getting angry with the person and developing compassion instead. So let's try meditation on this, and today we'll focus specifically on forgiveness of others. We start, as usual, with calming down, relaxing and calming down our minds, relaxing the body, focusing on the breath. Now, recall someone from your own personal life who did something that hurt you, or said something that hurt you or annoyed you, and you got angry at that and felt resentful about it, and maybe even held a grudge, so that later on you kept thinking about what they did or what they said, and you were angry and upset. And try to recall how you felt. And note that feeling like this, being angry and keeping on dwelling on it afterwards, that this was not a happy or a comfortable state of mind. And ask yourself, did you feel good dwelling on what they did or said? Now try to differentiate in your mind the person from their deed. This is just one incident, even if it has occurred many times in the context of that person's entire life. This is very crucial to differentiate person and what they did or said. Focus on the larger picture of the person as a human being. This person, like everyone else, including myself, wanted to be happy and not unhappy, but was confused about what would bring them happiness. And so because of being unhappy, then out of unawareness and ignorance, they acted destructively by hurting me, or saying something, or doing something that annoyed me. They thought it would bring happiness. It just caused a problem, didn't it? They were confused. Note how the more you focus on this understanding, the more your anger and resentment subsides. now generate compassion for them, the wish for them to be free of the confusion and unhappiness that caused them to hurt you or to do something annoying or say something annoying. May they be free of that confusion and unhappiness. Resolve that at some appropriate time, when you're calm and they're receptive, you'll point out what they did that hurt you and try to resolve the problem. Next, we turn to somebody who made a mistake that personally affected us. Recall the mistake they made and how you got angry with them, lost your temper. And try to recall how you felt when either you were really angry with them but didn't say anything, or just aggressively scolded them. Was this a happy and comfortable state of mind? Was it a calm and relaxed state of mind? Now, try to differentiate in your mind the person from their action of making the mistake. Look at them in the context of their whole life. And all your interaction with the person. And all their interactions with everybody else. This person, like everyone else, including myself, wanted to be helpful. They didn't want to make a mistake, but they were confused about what was the best way to do something or the best way to act. Or maybe they weren't paying attention. That's why they made a mistake, or they were lazy and were late, or whatever. And so out of ignorance and disturbing emotions, they made the mistake. But they're a limited samsaric being, so it's unrealistic to expect that they'll always be perfect and never make a mistake. They're just a human being, so what did we expect? Note how the more you focus on this understanding, the more your anger subsides. Now generate compassion for the person, with the wish for them to be free of the confusion, ignorance, and disturbing emotions that cause them to make a mistake. they be free of their mistakes, their confusion and lack of understanding, or their irrational thinking. Which just causes them problems and causes everybody problems. And resolve that at some appropriate time, when you're calm, not feeling aggressive to scold and correct their mistakes or their lack of logic, and when they're receptive and not defensive, you'll point out their mistake and help them to correct it. With sincere concern for them, not to win in showing how correct you are. So then again, we calm down. Again, focus on the breath.